You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome. We're so glad to see you. Hopefully you've been joining us for other shows today. This is show number 7. Woo! And if you're just joining us for the first time, we're so happy to have you. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents In the Name of Love. It's all about love. I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. And my guest today is the lovely Cindy Willcocks. Hello, Cindy. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I was really into your intro then, your little
Cindy, I have to thank you because you have been such a loyal fan. We've never met in person,
No.
And this is the first time we're meeting now, but you're always on Facebook sharing things, liking things, and I just have to tell you how much that means to me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Spreading the love.
Yes, really spreading the love. So speaking of love and the fact that this show is in the name of love, love in loving humanity, loving others, kindness, caring, that's really important to you, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, sounds a bit cheesy, but I live for it. I love spreading unconditional love and promoting kind of health and happiness for people because it is possible. And sometimes people experience things. You know, we've had a hell of a year for the whole world over the last kind of year and a half with the pandemic. And I think sometimes people have found it hard to hold on to hope, and spreading love really helps with that, and encouraging people to live healthy and happy lives is brilliant. And I love, you know, what you do in the communities to try and promote that. So it's really cool. I'm really pleased to be here.
Well, thank you. I'm really glad that you're here myself. So I'd love for you to talk to us a little bit about the work that you've done and that you're doing. So you're an author, you're an entrepreneur, you spend a lot of time helping people in the health field. So I'm going to spotlight you and start off wherever you'd like us to hear about your journey.
Yeah, so I'm a registered mental health nurse. So I started training in 1997, actually. So all that time ago. And it's something that I've really, really enjoyed. And as time has gone on, I've done different things. I've worked in kind of acute mental health in the hospitals where people are acutely unwell, and supported people back to recovery so that they can return to the community, which has been brilliant. I've worked in assertive outreach teams where people need additional help and support with their medication, and that's been mainly based in community. And then over the time in a nursing career, you do different things, and I've worked in drug and alcohol, substance misuse. I've worked with families, whole families, and what I really enjoyed is actually enriching the next generation. So what I found was lots of individuals had these families around them, these networks around them, and I really liked to focus on providing the help to that whole community that they were in, because I think when one person is in need of help, often what you find, there's other people around them that's needed that. And so I had a career kind of change and started working in child and adolescents mental health services, and I became in the NHS. I became the kind of head of service for child and adolescents mental health services, so CAM services. And that really focused on working with children and young people under the age of 18 or 19 if they're in care, and working with their families and support networks. And it really spurred me on to help people kind of develop a way of changing patterns of behaviour, because I found that sometimes family units got stuck in behaviours and stuck in patterns of behaviour that were really unhealthy, and people made unhealthy choices about their lives and often found themselves feeling low or suicidal or with no hope. And I really wanted to change that. And I found myself in a position where, in the kind of NHS services, which I really love, obviously, being a nurse, I love the NHS services. And what I found is they're very systematic in their approach, and actually individuals didn't always fit in with those kind of rules and regulations, and whether they fitted in the box or not became a bit of a question for me. So I actually set up a business called R10, Enriching the Next Generation, and it's a community interest company, so it runs not for profit. And I really didn't know what I was doing with business 6 years ago. I was a good nurse, but not a very good business person. So a bit of baptism by fire. So even though I'd had senior career in the NHS, I'd worked for Virgin Care, I've done lots of different things, I didn't really understand running a whole business like I do now. So, you know, my passion was to put people at the centre of their care and support, and help them and their families to grow and develop and change patterns of behaviour that were unhealthy, really. So that's what I did. And now I have 3 businesses.
Woohoo! Look at that. So there's so many lessons that you just shared with us. So I'd like to just kind of peel it back a little bit. So the first thing is, thank you for all the work that you do in the health field. It's got to be emotionally draining on some level, because when you're working with people who are going through things physically and mentally, you have to be on all the time. So can you share with us, as a nurse, how do you set up a boundary for yourself so that you don't become completely exhausted mentally or physically?
I think it is really important to take care of yourself, and there was a lot of work that I needed to do even after qualifying as a nurse. So, you know, I was very young when I qualified as a nurse, and at the time that I entered nursing college, I had a 1-year-old daughter. So there was me and my 1-year-old daughter, and me trying to hold down placements and study and write assignments and do exams. And I think what I learned at that point was that I had to try and take care of myself. That said, I didn't take care of myself in the way that I do now, and it's because I hadn't done the learning that I needed to do in order to make healthy choices for myself. So I think what's really important is, firstly, doing what you love. So if you do something that you love, my belief is that it energizes you rather than drains you. And that's what I do. So I do a lot of work around trauma. I'm an EMDR therapist, so I work with post-traumatic stress disorder. And quite often, obviously, people are having experiences, very emotional experiences, that can leave them feeling suicidal. And I've done a lot of work as a consultant around suicide prevention and self-harm mitigation. And I think when I'm hearing what people talk about, it is very emotional. And I think that the important thing is just to try and remember to take care of yourself, whoever you are, not just me as a nurse or as a professional, but people in general, because I think we've all got a lot we can offer. So I think supporting someone that's going through stress and not feeling their best self can be supported by community and can be supported by friends and family. But I think you have to know when to take a step back and either get extra help in. So sometimes I might phone up a colleague, have some supervision, talk to someone else about what I'm experiencing, particularly if someone is feeling really, really distressed, and I might need to talk about their level of distress and that impact on me. So we would do supervision. But I think also I love to walk. I just walk all the time. I love being out, whether it's windy, sunshine, rainy, and I do little videos. So if you've never seen them, check them out. People talking about me in my purple jacket and my white headband. I just love to connect with people. I feel very energized by it. So I don't often feel drained. I feel very privileged and very honoured to be helping people with such personal and difficult circumstances. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Well, you've got this incredible energy that just comes through, and you've got this beautiful smile, and you've got this passion and compassion, which I think is truly wonderful. So keep on doing what you're doing. But I want to talk about the fact this is in the name of love. It's not the business show, but I think it's important to talk about the fact that you now have 3 businesses, but it wasn't always so rosy, right? So you and it's not, this isn't stories of hope, inspiration, overcoming adversity, but it's about finding that love, finding your lane where you're doing something that you really are passionate about and for, and then all of a sudden it comes together.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, I've learned a lot in the last 6 years about things that I never even thought of. So and I've had a really good network of people around me to be able to kind of work things out, which has been great. And even like reflecting back on, kind of doing what you love. Everyone always says to me, "Oh, but you can't do that." But you can do that. So I challenge that. You can do what you love, and you can be happy, and you can make decisions that don't always feel like you can. So people sometimes say to me, "Well, you've always been a risk taker," but I don't really see myself as that. I think I'm open to new opportunities, and I feel so passionately about spreading love in the world and empowering communities to be able to empower other people that are in those communities. So I have a number of Facebook groups, and usually they start out as a bit of a wacky idea from me. And I think, I'm going to do this now. So one year I decided that I was going to, I volunteered on Christmas Day, and I went to a local church, and it was really great to see what the organisers had done. And essentially, there was about 200 people that had received this kind of hot meal for Christmas. And for me, that was great. It was wonderful to be part of that. And also what I felt was there was something missing, and for me, it was that Christmas spirit. So me being me, decided I was going to set up Christmas Day with Christmas spirit, and wrote my friends and family into it firstly, and then empower communities to really get behind it. And that's been running, so that's called Operation Snow, and that's been running for a few years. And yeah, we've, up until last year, we ran every year for about 6 years, and then obviously the pandemic and being in the UK affected the ability to be able to have groups of people together. But we've had groups of people together where we're not volunteering and someone attending. What we're actually doing is spending Christmas together. So that's been a really wonderful thing about connecting a community. The kind of development of Operation Snow that just came from an idea, and being passionate and just encouraging other people to really get behind your idea and make a difference. So we've spent Christmas together and had hot meals and sang songs and done wonderful things with complete strangers. But it's been great, and it's kind of worked. And we've had people there from maybe about 45 people right up to about 75 people. And what I've really loved about it is there is something about Christmas that people can get behind. And I think maybe that's because we connect in with our own emotions and think how it is for us when we're meeting friends and family, whether you celebrate Christmas or not. It's that holiday season where you get the opportunity to spend time together. And I think that means a lot to people. So yeah, I really see people get behind things at Christmas, and that kind of getting behind people at Christmas really inspired Operation Snow hashtag not just for Christmas. And, we just used the kind of Christmas spirit and goodness of Christmas to spread all through the year. So we give out non-perishable food, and I've just been working with local businesses through the pandemic. So big shout out to the Hook and Line and Supers, who do amazing food. And they've been providing hot nutritional meals for families, and we've been supporting them to deliver it, which has been amazing. I just think just do more of what you love is what the message is, and it just gets bigger.
There's so much joy bubbling out of you. I really like you. I have a lot of respect for you. So thank you. We're going to take a break and hear from a UK performer. Today I'm going to feature two performers from the UK, one at this break and one at the next one. So just to give a little bit of background, we're first going to hear from ILO. ILO, and she has a song called Heroes in Disguise, and she is represented by Licorice Dragon Records, and you can purchase her music over on iTunes. So let's take a look at Heroes in Disguise, and then we'll be right back with more from Cindy. Here we go.
Picture this, a life where you can leave your pain, a life where you can start again somehow. Picture this, a vision that can change a prayer, happy heart that's always there in the now. So don't be afraid of fear, even though as long as we're still here, we can be anything larger than life, rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagine how good life can be, but inside you and me we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. We're heroes in disguise, heroes in disguise. Picture this, losing everything you got, never having had a lot, but holding on and on and on. Don't be afraid to dream, 'cause we are so much closer than it seems. We can be anything larger than life, rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagine how good life can be, but inside you and me we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. We can be anything larger than life, rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagine how good life can be, but inside you and me we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. Heroes in disguise, heroes in disguise, heroes in disguise, heroes in disguise. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The Buzz Radio. And the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back. What a great show we have today. You're watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn in the Name of Love, and my guest is Cindy Willcocks, who is a nurse. She is a change agent. She's an author. She's an entrepreneur. She is a humanitarian, and she's a joy spreader, which I think is so much in need in this world today. So thank you, Cindy. During the first segment, we talked about a number of things, but I like in this segment if we can focus a little bit on your work as an author.
Yeah, great. I just wanted to say, what a lovely voice that lady had. Brilliant.
I just want to share something with you. So Isla was introduced to me through Ian Pelham Turner and Helena Shard, and Helena sent over the clip, and it was like at night, and I was working on the show for the next day. So I was here in the studio without the green screen, and I was here by myself. I just started crying. Oh my gosh, it was like pouring out of me. And when she goes like this, I was like this. I was like,
amazing. It was great. I loved it. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
yes.
Yeah, really good.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I have got
Yes.
big purple heart. Yeah. So this is my book, and draw a heart around it, a revolutionary mental health treatment for individuals and companies. And I never really imagined writing a book. And I was having a coaching conversation one day, and I was thinking about my own journey and how I'd been able to kind of travel through adversity and deal with things that life throw at you sometimes. And I started to really think about how I managed to change things for myself and how I managed to engage with other people and help them change things. And I really started to formulate a kind of framework around that. So I was thinking, okay, well, how did I get from A to B? How did I start to help people? How did I help businesses and organizations? I do a lot of, like you say, change agent work. So, you know, sometimes I go into care homes where maybe they've been getting inadequate ratings, maybe there's a threat of closure, and I always feel like this is people's homes. I don't want their homes to close, so I try and find a way to engage with business owners to try and help them turn it around and do what they need to do to get that outstanding result. So I was thinking about all of this, and I was thinking, okay, so how have I managed to do it? What are the kind of key principles? And what I worked out is it was always the same things, and it was the kind of same. I was using a kind of formula without even realizing it, really. So I started to create that formula into more of a structure, because I wanted people to have what I had, which was my health and happiness, and, you know, the love of spreading love. I always tell people I'm in love with love, which sounds cheesy, but it's really true. And I came up with the model of love leadership. And the model of love leadership is about, firstly, conducting yourself as a leader of you. And that might sound very simple. And I think for me, when I was thinking about my own journey and then my journey when I was helping other people, it really required me to understand myself, have insight around myself, know who I was being. And the love leadership became conducting yourself as a leader of you, then of other people, but using love as an acronym. So I started to apply kind of listen, own, voice, and empower to the model. And that's when it became love leadership. And that's what I've written about in my book, because the model of love leadership has been with me through my career as a nurse, through setting up business. And I actually wanted to be able to find a way of sharing that with people so that they could, if they chose to, apply it to themselves and feel happiness and love in the world. So yeah, that's basically what I wrote about. So I wrote a little bit about my journey, and then introduced the model of love leadership. And I'm hoping to build on that this year and start another book so that I can talk about the model of love leadership a little bit more in depth, and how that's being used to encourage other people to live their best lives too.
Brilliant, brilliant. When we take our next break and we come back, I'd love for you to read something out of the book if you would.
Yeah,
But
great.
before we before we do that, we were talking backstage, and you had shared you were in the, I guess it's called, in the running to win an award.
Yeah, yeah. So last year was obviously a big year for health with a worldwide pandemic that no one expected, and the impact that it's had on the world, and we're still seeing that impact. So I felt really privileged and honoured to be nominated for an award in the Florence Nightingale. So it was the Nursing Times Florence Nightingale Award for 2020.
So wait, Cindy, before you continue, so for folks in the States, can you give a little bit of information about what that award actually represents?
Yeah, so this is for the whole of the UK. So this award is a Nursing Times award. So Nursing Times is a publisher. It publishes magazines. It kind of is the voice of nurses. And this was a UK award for Florence Nightingale. So it was Florence Nightingale's 200th anniversary, her birthday. So this was an award that was specially designed for last year. So and I was nominated for it. And
Yay!
I was very, very shocked and so privileged to be nominated for it. And I was actually nominated by my husband, and I didn't actually know that he had nominated me. And then when I made the top 10, I wondered what he'd written. So I remember having a conversation with him and saying, like, this is like, I'm in the top 10 for the UK. Like, what did you write? I couldn't quite believe that I'd been selected to be in the top 10. And yeah, it's a real privilege and an honour, especially like the Florence Nightingale. So like as a nurse, like the Florence Nightingale Award so it was a Nurse of the Year. So yeah, it felt very, very much a privilege to be top 10 in your country for Florence Nightingale Awards. And I didn't make the top position, but I kind of felt like I already did.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes, I feel like you won it, even though you. So, of course, you have all of us wondering, inquiring minds want to know, what did your husband write?
Well, I actually, I made him send me what he'd actually written. So I wanted to read what he'd written. So I think he actually had to email the person to get her to send it back to him. But like I kind of imagine, I just thought my husband would just be biased. I'm his wife; he has to be, doesn't he? And I was kind of thinking, like, what has he written to get me in the top 10 of the UK? And then actually, when I read it, he just talked about what I'd been doing in business and in nursing, and I didn't see anything in there that I hadn't done. So I felt a little bit more at ease then, because he'd just written about us, providing food to families that can't afford to eat, to supporting people at Christmas, to managing situations when people feel low and suicidal and just have no hope and don't want to be around anymore. And and those are all things that I've spent a lot of time doing in a long career, and actually just generally in life. So just reading back, it felt quite humbling to think actually he's only written about what I did, so what I've done. So yeah, he was off the hook.
Off the hook, I love it. And so the magnitude of what you do hadn't even sunken in until you read about what your husband wrote, they were all just facts. And when you saw the facts together, even you were surprised.
Yeah, I think sometimes I get so busy in the doing that sometimes I forget to not celebrate the achievement, but like see it. I just love seeing other people thrive and flourish, and I think what I try and do is I try and empower people in communities and people around, just to think about people in a positive way. So, like, for instance, this evening I've been working in a care home this evening before this show, and I've been working with end of life older people, and obviously you can imagine, again, that's a kind of another subject matter that is very difficult. And there was a gentleman who's just come into the care home, and he's got advanced Parkinson's. He's very young. There's lots going on there, and I guess sometimes people get a bit task focused, and they can forget about the emotional side of actually what's going on. And I was just having a conversation earlier, really, just to say to people, like, imagine being in this man's shoes. Imagine being him. He's had a really good career. He's a well-educated man. He's very intelligent. And then suddenly he finds himself in a situation where he finds it hard to speak. He finds it hard to swallow. And yeah, maybe it takes him an hour to eat his tea. And maybe he wants to use the toilet and not a commode. And yes, it might take longer to actually get him there. And what we need to remember is this is about dignity, and it's about respect, and it's about love, and it's about stepping in the shoes of someone else and just seeing it from their position, because we can get very task focused. And I spend a lot of my time reminding people to act with heart rather than get task focused, or maybe use it ego. I think, really feel it. I really want, because I believe that, I think we're all good people, and I think, sometimes we just need to be shown a different way. Like, we can get into unhelpful patterns of behaviour. If you're a busy team, if you've got things to do, if you're running out of time, it can become very convey about. And I hate to say it, but it can be like, right, no. And actually, sometimes stopping and have a chat, listening to what people are saying, stepping to the shoes of someone to make a really big difference to them and how they are. And so I just think it's really important not to forget that. So yeah.
It's so true. I have some coaching clients that just want me to listen. I just listen for the entire time. I literally don't say anything because they have no one to talk to. And we forget that people, like, you might see someone and make a judgment. You have no idea what they went through, what they're going through. And so please, let's all, as a society, community, let's not judge each other anymore.
Yeah.
Cindy, I have a very nice picture of you I'd like to put up, and just give us a little bit of background, what we're looking at here.
So this is me on a professional photo shoot, and anyone that knows me knows that I don't really do it. So just probably half an hour before the show, all my hair's up in a bun and just everywhere, pen stuck in it. I've kind of got a bit of a shine and a brush on it today, but yeah, so this is me just doing a photo shoot. And I think this represents me realizing that sometimes, in order to do more good in the world, you've got to put yourself out there a bit more. And that might mean putting yourself in uncomfortable positions, like being in a photo shoot.
Well, it's a beautiful picture. Beautiful picture. So thank you. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, I'd love to have you read something from your book. And for this break, we're going to watch and listen to another UK performer. His name is Tony Moore. He is a singer-songwriter, and he has a new take, his take on an old song called Route 66. He's releasing his single that we're going to watch on Friday. So Woo! You're getting to see the music video right now. So take it away, Mr. Tony Moore.
Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it winds from Chicago to LA. More than 2,000 miles all the way. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it goes through St. Louis, Jacalyn, Missouri, Oklahoma City looks so pretty, you'll see. Amarillo and Gallup, New Mexico. Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino. Would you get here to this timely tip and go take that California trip? Get your kicks on Route 66. Okay, let's go. Well, it goes through St. Louis, Jacalyn, Missouri, Oklahoma City looks so pretty, you'll see. Amarillo and Gallup, New Mexico. Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino. Well, if you ever plan to motor west, travel my way, that's the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it winds from Chicago to LA. More than 2,000 miles all the way. Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Woohoo! Tony Moore, Route 66. I'm loving it. How about you, Cindy?
I loved it, and the cute little dog and all.
I love it. Yes, little dogs everywhere. Did you see the little, if there were chickens or roosters or something, then an owl in the car?
I saw it. It's great. I loved it.
So cool. So cool. So, folks, welcome back. You're watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn in the Name of Love. My guest is Cindy Willcocks, and she is going to read from her book. So if you would tee up where it is you're starting or what we're going to be hearing about.
Yeah. So I was actually going to go to near to the end, actually, which there's a bit about love leadership and the model of love leadership. And it's a message that I really want people to hear and think about how they can implement it in their lives. So love leadership focuses on promoting how you conduct yourself as a leader of you. If you can lead yourself in a way that promotes integrity and a happy, healthy lifestyle, then you can lead other things, whether that be an event, a project team, a service, or an organization. So love leadership encourages this through actively listening, owning your stuff and remembering your roots, having a voice and not being afraid to use it, accepting that this is true for others, and empowerment, engaging, educating to evolve to reach self-actualization and your desired goals. Spreading unconditional love is equally important. Once you can understand the conscious and unconscious version of you, it's easier to make decisions and act out the behaviors that will impact positively on your life. When you learn to empower yourself, you can empower others. The intentions behind conversations and actions towards others is critical. Knowing yourself, who you're being in any given moment, and coming from a good place is essentially, personally and professionally. The way you speak about others or a situation will affect relationships and outcomes. Love leadership promotes the notion if you can achieve this for yourself, then you're in a strong position to help other people to do the same. For example, if you can feel confident in who you are or your abilities, reduce self-negative talk or internal dialogue, and promote positive perception, you will live a fulfilling life personally and professionally. If you judge or talk about someone else in a derogatory way, then that will shape your experience and perception. So essentially what I'm saying is the model of love leadership is starting with you and then helping others to understand it so that they can alter their lives, recognize when they might need to make different decisions to impact positively on their life. So that's the model of love leadership. And it's not about right or wrong. It's about using your experiences to shape how you go forward.
I loved watching you read because you were engaging with the audience at the same time. You weren't just head down in the book. So how does it feel to read your own words and hear them?
It is a strange thing. It's a strange thing. Yeah, and I guess like at the beginning where I talk a little bit more about my journey, it's a strange thing to think that other people are reading about personal stories about you that you've put out there. But you know what? I took a risk, as people would call it, because I wanted people to connect. I'm just me. Like, I'm just me. If I can do it, anyone can do it. And I think I wanted people to connect with that and think, well, she can do it, I can do it. And actually, we all deserve to live our best lives. So nothing's impossible. You can achieve anything you put your mind to. And, yeah, it's a strange feeling to know that people know as much as you. Although I did keep something secret.
For the next book.
Something.
Cindy, thank you so much for reading to us, for us. There's a picture on Facebook I wanted to ask you about, and it looks like you're performing something. What is that? I'm going to try to find the picture while you tell us.
True. It's on an aerial hoop, actually. Yeah, so I'm not really a gym goer. However, I do like to walk and do exercise. So I, for quite a long time, did things like pole dancing and aerial hoop. I also tried trapeze. Not so good at trapeze, and silks. That's it.
That's such a great picture, Cindy. I tried this myself and it didn't work out too well, but go ahead.
So it was one of my wacky projects again. So I set up some coaching for women, so coaching and mentoring for women, and it's called Platform 50. And essentially it's about recruiting and training women to support women. And I decided that I wanted to kind of engage with local businesses. And I had a local business owner who owned a pole dance studio. And she wanted to run an event to raise money so that we could do more coaching and mentoring. And we set up this event called Elevate. And it was essentially pole dancing, burlesque, chair dancing, just had some hip hop, salsa, belly dancing, all that kind of thing. But the whole theme was about empowering women. So it wasn't an event just for women, but the message was about empowering women. And I've run that for about 3 years. Last year, I didn't run it because of the pandemic. And I do hope we can run it again soon. However, what I did is I was part of a team of 10 women who weren't professional dancers. And we opened the event with a chair dance that we'd been practicing. And I think it's on YouTube somewhere. And then I did a solo performance as well in a hoop for 3.5 minutes, which I trained for in front of 100 people, all in the name of empowering women. So
I love it. That is fantastic. I am totally tracking with you because I took 2 pole dancing lessons. And let me tell you, folks, this is hard work. This is very hard work. In fact, one of the Hollywood movie stars, who was it? Demi Moore and Jennifer Lopez. I think it was both of them did movies where they actually were pole dancing. It's hard to even stay up on there because it's ripping your thighs open. It's ripping your hands. It's work. And then you see them with the shoes on and they're upside down and they're here. It's like, it's crazy hard. Crazy hard.
Yeah, it's hats off to those. Yeah, hats off, because it took a lot of training to get me on that hoop for 3.5 minutes.
So the question I have for you, because I would envision that by mastering that, 3.5 minutes is a long time. That has to feel so empowering. It's got to feel like you're sexy, you're powerful, you're a strong woman. How did you feel?
It was great to have done it, and I think I didn't even realize that on the night, because like on the night I was feeling nervous about doing it, but I really wanted to do it. Again, it was that thing like, well, if I can do it, you can do it. So it was that kind of a thing, and I just kind of, I think it was after looking back, I'm thinking, yeah, it was really good. It was really empowering, and yeah, and it has inspired other people to get on a hoop. And yeah, I need to get back to some classes. I've not been to any classes with everything that's been going on, and obviously being a nurse, and you know, I've kind of limited my contact. I haven't had much contact with friends and family, and I haven't been to clubs just because I've worked in areas where people are vulnerable, and you know, the whole virus thing. So I'm really looking forward to. I actually do have. I've managed to persuade my husband, who's a great man, to put up with me. I think sometimes he built a frame in the garden, so I'm in the garden now.
Good for you. That's awesome. I love that. You know what? The next time you come back, let's have your husband film you out. Like, we'll go live and you'll be out in the garden. I'm serious. I'm not kidding you, because I think that's very inspirational. I remember my girlfriend and we went to this pole dancing place, and so we were taking the lesson, but then they also had the ability for you to do the chair dance, like what you talked about. And it's like something you see in a movie, but you're crawling across the floor, right? It's like really cool. It's like this feeling. I don't even know how to explain it, but I didn't go back for the pole dancing because I was starting to get my skin was getting all ripped up, and I just thought, I'm not good at this. Just not good at it. But you are. We want to see you on that hoop in the garden. So will you come back and do that live for us?
I will come back.
She's not saying about that, though. You're not going to. I think it's good for people to see that it's not just people who are paid to do a movie, a feature film, right? It's real people do this for work all the time, and regular people can do it to find and channel their inner self, right? That part of us that, you know, that, what's the word? I don't want to say sexuality. What would you say it is that you feel when you're performing like that?
I think it's very empowering. It's about just being you, isn't it? It's just about being in touch with you and being out there. And, you know, there's a bit about, you know, we live in a society where looks and shape and size really, really matters a lot to people. And I think what I would say is, like, anyone, any age, any size, any shape can just get on a hoop or get on a pole and look amazing. So, you know, I think it's just that empowerment of just being who you are and not having to fit in. It's just very, very empowering to, I don't know, to be able to be part of a team of women that are not professional dancers that then do, like, I mean, we opened up the event and, you know, we got a standing ovation from the other women that were there, and it was like, yeah, it's like that energy. It's like, yes, like, you know,
it's a rush.
I'm not like excluding men in that, but it's just like, you know, this is amazing. Like, come on, let's support each other.
Yeah, I think you touched on something really important. As I'm reflecting on the people who were in the class, there were women of all sizes, and some of the women who were a little bit larger were better than a lot of the other women. I can still see them at the top of the pole with like 7-inch heeled shoes twirling around, not holding on. Like, this is unbelievable. I wish I could do it. So I was never very good in school, like climbing the ropes. Did you have that when you were in high school or some other school where you climb a rope?
We had that, and also so as part of the training, I did climb. I had to climb ropes, and I remember going to a class and forgetting totally that you need the same amount of energy to come down the rope as you've got to go up. And I kind of and I was up there, and I was like, oh, I've got to get down now. And I was so tired. I ended up with friction burns. So yeah, just a warning there.
Yes. The other thing I tried was the, what are they called? Silks. I think you said you did that. Silks. And that was a lot of fun. But what I found was when I was upside down, I was getting a really bad headache. And at the time I had high blood pressure, which knock on wood, I don't have anymore. But that was a very liberating feeling, because it's kind of like terrifying at the same time that it's really exciting. And I imagine if I knew what I was doing, it wouldn't have been terrifying, but I really did like it.
Yeah, it's great. It's amazing. It's just, I don't know, it's very freeing. It's just freeing. I think it's very mindful, because in that moment, all you're thinking about is staying on that silk or staying on the hoop. It's like you can't really think about the day or other things or your shopping list or all the things you haven't done. You've just, you're too busy just thinking I need to stay on here. So it's very mindful. It
sure is. And I have so much respect for performers like Cirque du Soleil and those performers who are way up there swinging around. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah,
so
totally. Really amazing.
Cindy, I have to tell you, I really like you, and I'm really enjoying this conversation with you. And I'd love to have you come back on another show.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I've really enjoyed meeting you, and thanks for having me. And it's just been great, and keep doing the amazing things that you're doing. You're doing a lot of stuff in your community to empower others to get out there. So I really love that. I love that about you, and I love what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate it. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I really do appreciate all of your social media engagement, because, when I spend almost all my time behind this green screen. So if I have 18 shows, that's 18 hours. And then I spend 2 days preparing, and then I spend on and on and on. So you see someone who's engaging with you over and over. It's kind of like, wow, somebody's out there. And I guess they're enjoying what I'm doing, which is good, because I'm trying to help so many people get their story out. So I appreciate it. Thank you. I also want to let our audience know that we have another fabulous guest, and for technology reasons wasn't able to join us. So Dr. Abrams will be joining us hopefully tomorrow, and just saying hi to you out there. And I know you tried, and sometimes technology just doesn't work. So it's no worries. We'll have you back on. All right, Cindy, how can people get in touch with you? Where can they buy your book?
So my book is on Amazon, so you can get it either as a hardback copy, or you can get it as an electronic copy from Amazon. So it's Draw a Heart Around It, a revolutionary mental health treatment for individuals and companies. And if you want to chat with me, you can get me on Facebook. So just Cindy Willcocks, and I will pick up your messages. I get messages from people. It's probably best to try and add me if I don't reply. But yeah, just contact me via Facebook. I use Facebook a lot.
All right. Thank you so much. I just love your energy. As I said before, I at the beginning of the show, I was dragging a little bit. Now I'm like, woo, ready to go. I was thinking maybe I'll go out for a run after standing for 7.5 hours. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I will because of Cindy Willcocks. So thank you.
Brilliant. I love it. Yeah, it's great. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Keep up the great work, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Loads of
love. Thank you. Bye, Cindy.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, what a delight she is. There's so many wonderful people in the world, and why I get the opportunity to meet them, I don't know, because it means so much to me. I can't tell you. I love hearing people's stories, and like Cindy has accomplished so much, and she's out there helping people. Like she's doesn't even realize it, but the work she does is so difficult. It is very difficult when you are constantly on emotionally supporting people, sometimes physically supporting people whose whole lives have transformed and not the way that they would have wished for themselves. And they need somebody there to help pick up the pieces, help them find the bright light, help them do basic things that they're not able to do anymore. And that's Cindy Willcocks. So please do go over to Facebook and become friends with her, because she is, as I mentioned, a bright light in this world. I want to thank everybody for being fabulous guests today. To my co-hosts, I also want to thank ILO, Licorice Dragon Records, Tony Moore, Philip Chan, and I want to just say that tomorrow we have, let me get my clipboard. We've got 4 shows tomorrow. I'm clearly slacking it tomorrow. I don't know what to say, but we have the 529 Club Creatives. That's our first show. That is at 12:30 Eastern Time, which is 5:30 British Summer Time. And the lovely Deborah Wooten will be my co-host, and our guest is Corey Rowe. Then right after that at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 p.m. British Summer Time, we have A Better You. I meant to talk to Cindy about that. A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. I've hand-selected a team of people from around the world. Cindy, I'd like to have you join. And they are experts presenting in their area and just helping us be better personally and professionally. And Cindy's one of those people. Tomorrow we have the Doctor Who of Business, Ben Chai, and he will be presenting. At 4 o'clock Eastern Time and 9 p.m. British Summer Time, we have It's All About Dating. And my co-host is Lori Mendelson, and our guest is Dylan Levitt. And our last show for tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. British Summer Time, is A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. And guess who's joining us? Doctor Who of Business, Ben Chai, is coming back, and Hyatt Ives. So they're the shows for tomorrow. I will bid you adieu. I'm going to go get something to eat with my mother, but thank you again for being here. And again, Cindy Willcocks, thank you for being here. You are a beautiful person, my friend. All right, we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.